Hi, this is Sigrun with Universal Pagan Temple, and I've faced a lot of criticism from Christians on this topic, and others have too. So I thought I'd bring it up because when I see people arguing back and forth with Christians, mainly pagans, about Christian morality, the Christians always say, oh, Western civilization was built upon Christian morals. And I know for a fact that isn't true. And these people are arguing, the Christians are arguing from their perspective, but the pagans I see arguing are arguing from, Greek, Roman, and Norse perspective. Which, they all had their own moralities, but I never see this specific morality structure brought into the limelight in this conversation, which is the 42 negative confessions of ancient Egypt. Now, the 42 negative confessions are found in the Book of the Dead, also known as the Book of Going Forth by Day. Specifically, they were found in the well-preserved Papyrus of Anai. Now, these confessions were recited by the soul before the gods in the Hall of Judgment. And rather than commandments, they're declarations of innocence. And these were written on papyrus to be put in with the mummies as early as 1550 BCE, during the New Kingdom period in ancient Egypt. But they draw from centuries upon centuries upon centuries, considering that ancient Egypt lasted over 3,000 years. I mean, you consider America, we've, a little over 200 years. 3,000 is quite a long time. But they draw from, this tradition of Egyptian funerary text that was, came from the pyramid text, which was meant to guide the pharaoh in the afterlife. And very similarly, the Egyptian Book of the Dead was meant to guide, the person through the afterlife, through the duat, through all these pitfalls, these traps. There's a spell in there to prevent you from being cursed, to not crawl up on the ceiling and expel excrement from your mouth. So in the duat you face lots of demons and lots of traps, and these spells, not only in the pyramid texts, but in the Book of the Dead, are meant to protect you from those, so you can reach the halls of judgment and give these 42 negative confessions to the gods and have your heart weighed against the feather of Ma'at, which is the most, famous image from ancient Egypt, besides the mask of Tutankhamun is, you see Anubis, the jackal-headed god, weighing the heart against this feather, which is an ostrich plume, and that is the feather of Ma'at. Now, Ma'at is a goddess, but she is also a principle, and she has been worshipped throughout Egyptian history. Now, she is the goddess of and represents cosmic order, justice, and truth. So when looking at the 42 negative confessions, you are proclaiming, you have been just and true against the feather of Ma'at. And we're also going to be looking at the 10 Commandments from the Hebrew Bible and the Christian Bible, mentioned in Exodus and Deuteronomy, which are said to be given to Moses by the Hebrew God during the Jewish people's journey out of Egypt between 1440 to 1290 BCE. So around this a little after, the Book of the Dead started to be put in with mummies for their guide into the afterlife. Because remember, the Egyptian funerary text, the pyramid text, was from 2400 to 2300 BCE. So a much older tradition already existed of these funeral texts to, help those along their way into the afterlife, which had these moral codes. But anyway, now it's up for debate in terms of Exodus, because some Christians and some Jews that are culturally Jewish, but they're not really, kind of agnostic, they see as Exodus being a fictional story. And also the Pharaoh in Exodus was never named. Now it's said that he was never named because they wanted to keep the emphasis on Abrahamic God. So it does lead to some questioning there. But anyway, first commandment of the 10 Commandments is, I am your Lord, your God. You shall have no other gods before me. 2, you shall not make idols or worship graven images. 3, you shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain. 4, remember the Sabbath day, keep it holy. 5, honor your father and your mother. 6, you shall not murder. 7, you shall not commit adultery. 8, you shall not steal. 9, you shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. And 10, you shall not covet your neighbor's house, wife, or belongings. And then there's the alternative, which kind of combines some of them. I am the Lord your God. You shall not have strange gods before me. Number 2, you shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain. 3, remember to keep the Lord's day. 4, honor your father and mother. 5, you shall not kill. 6, you shall not commit adultery. 7, you shall not steal. 8, you shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. 9, you shall not covet your neighbor's wife. And 10, you shall not covet your neighbor's goods. Now, the 42 negative confessions, Egyptian Ma'at ethics, also called the Declarations of Innocence. Number 1, I have not committed sin. And by the way, this is like a shortened version because I'm not going to go into the full version, which is, something along the lines of, because you're supposed to be saying these to the gods, Hail Uxeth Namet, who cometh forth from Anu. I have not committed sin. I'm not going to be doing that for all of these. There's 42 and I've only got so much time. Okay, number 1, I have not committed sin. Number 2, I have not committed robbery with violence. Number 3, I have not stolen. Number 4, I have not slain men or women. Number 5, I have not stolen food. Number 6, I have not swindled offerings. Number 7, I have not stolen from the gods, goddesses. Number 8, I have not told lies. Number 9, I have not carried away food. Number 10, I have not uttered curses. Number 11, I have not closed my ears to truth. Number 12, I have not committed adultery. Number 13, I have not made anyone cry. Number 14, I have not felt sorrow without cause. Number 15, I have not assaulted anyone. Number 16, I am not deceitful. Number 17, I have not stolen anyone's land. Number 18, I have not been an eavesdropper. Number 19, I have not falsely accused anyone. Number 20, I have not been angry without reason. Number 21, I have not seduced another spouse. Number 22, I have not polluted myself. Number 23, I have not terrorized anyone. Number 24, I have not disobeyed the law. Number 25, I have not been excessively proud. Number 26, I have not caused strife. Number 27, I have not been lazy. Number 28, I have not pried into matters. Number 29, I have not manipulated words in speaking. Number 30, I have not harmed or cursed gods, goddesses. Number 31, I have not committed evil. Number 32, I have not cursed the king. Number 33, I have not fouled the waters. Number 34, I have not raised my voice. Number 35, I have not been arrogant. Number 36, I have not blasphemed. Number 37, I have not acted with violence. Number 38, I have not acted hastily without thought. Number 39, I have not turned a deaf ear to words of right and truth. Number 40, I have not spoken scornfully. Number 41, I have not cursed others in thought, word, or deed. Number 42, I am pure, I am pure, I am pure. Now, the 42 negative confessions are written from a point of view of somebody that does not have a jealous monotheistic God. It is from someone that has a polytheistic worldview, and it is, pretty open, and it doesn't say, oh, don't worship other gods other than the Egyptian god or our only God. No, it doesn't even do that. It is, you know, very much like 9 out of those 42 confessions are about theft. So the Egyptians were very much about protection of personal and private property. This adultery is in there. And you notice number 37, I have not acted with violence. So, yeah, that includes, assault and murder. And let's see here, number 2, I have not committed robbery with violence. So that means, holding somebody up with a weapon. And these are more applicable to the American mindset. I've seen all these videos of these, pickpockets in Europe, and these Americans coming over to Europe for their limited amount of vacation time. And Americans, if you try to pickpocket them, they worked so hard to have one vacation a year, much less, being able to afford to fly over to Europe. And if somebody pickpockets them, yeah, they're going to take action. It's very much an American mindset, these 42 negative confessions in terms of theft. And, I have not told lies. And of course, I have not made anyone cry. And that's basically intentionally. You haven't made anyone cry intentionally. And, within the 10 Commandments, there's nothing like that. And there's nothing like not being an eavesdropper. Nothing like I have not polluted myself. Because this means, eating awful food that is awful for you. And, it kind of reinforces a healthy habit. But it's not necessarily, these are not hard rules for the ancient Egyptians. And if you choose to follow them as a pagan, it's not hard rules for you, because basically, if you've done more good than bad, your heart will balance out with the feather of Ma'at. While the 10 Commandments is about obedience to their deity within this Egyptian context, it's living in balance with Ma'at, with these Egyptian gods, and even, outside the Egyptian pantheon, the Norse, Greek, it's in living with balance with them too. We seek harmony with ourselves, with our peers, and within nature. It's not about submission. The 42 negative confessions are more about accountability, self-accountability, and not about prohibitive measures. So in summary, the 10 Commandments of the Abrahamic faith emphasize obedience, submission, and a singular one God authority. And the 42 negative confessions focus on personal integrity, harmony, justice, the concept of ma'at, and self-accountability. In the pagan worldview, this is, a very good thing, But when you're in the worldview of you must submit to my God, even if you are not of my faith, such as the Abrahamic worldview, it creates strife and just general disharmony. So within the Egyptian context, the morality stems from balance, not fear. Like I said, no external judgment, rather a weighing of the heart against the feather of Ma'at. Now, it's ethical living in maintaining cosmic harmony, but if you have committed too many of these sins, your soul will be eaten. If your heart weighed more than the feather of Ma'at, meaning you were unbalanced, if you had actually done too many of these 42 negative confessions, then Almut, you see him next to Anubis in the famous Papyrus of Anai image. He's got a crocodile head, a lion body, and a hippopotamus behind. He will eat your soul, and you will cease to be completely, 100%, completely forgotten, and there's no going into the afterlife after that. And the reason why Almut was depicted in such a way because he was the combination of three terrible animals for the ancient Egyptians. The crocodile lives in the Nile. The lion, lives, kind of a desert oasis, kind of what we picture as southern Egypt. For them, the Egyptians had to be northern Egypt, and that's an entirely different topic. But, and then the hippopotamus behind was also pretty frightening, because one of the lowest jobs you can have in ancient Egypt was to do laundry in the Nile, because the crocodile, while dangerous, the hippopotamus is an extremely dangerous animal. If you look up on how many people die due to hippopotamus attacks still, it's quite high. Think of them as lazy, lumbering animals, but they're basically like a water moose. They're huge, aggressive, territorial. They've got those big tusks, and yeah. I mean, what game was I playing? It was Assassin's Creed Origins, and you actually get a trophy if you run away enough times from a hippopotamus, because the hippopotamus, if you're a low enough level in that game, they're pretty tough to deal with anyway. But anyway, I think I've ranted enough, and I think I've offered a pretty good perspective on a pagan perspective and answer to the Christian morality question of them saying, oh, well, Western morality came from Christianity. No, it came from ancient Egypt, from these funeral texts. And they worked their way into the Abrahamic religions, from 42 to 10, and I think some of them should have been included in there. It might have been more beneficial for women in the long run, but that's a lesson that they've failed to learn time and time again. But thank you so much for watching, and until next time, blessed be.